News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
An explosion at a University of Montana apartment complex blows out the windows. Good morning, everyone. This is Montana Morning. It's Monday, October the 13th, 2014. Skies cloudy right now. We have 39 degrees in Missoula. And our newscast this morning, sponsored by Temp-Right Service. Got any plumbing or heating problems? The furnace will be kicking in here. Call Team Blue at 728-1111. An explosion at University of Montana apartment complex sent 3 people to St. Patrick Hospital yesterday, 2 adults and 1 infant. The call came into 911 about 4:15. That an explosion had blown 3 windows, screens out of both sides of the second-floor apartment located on Wairika Court near the University of Montana Golf Course Clubhouse. Missoula Police Sergeant J.C. Denton has more.
Well, basically, we were called by the University of Montana to assist them with an explosion investigation. The fire department went in and deemed there is no public health risk right now. This is still under investigation.
Denton said the Missoula Police Department is taking the lead in the investigation.
The Missoula Police Department is handling the investigation. It's kind of basically a multi-jurisdictional type thing. Everyone's helping out, but Missoula Police Department is lead.
We do have an unconfirmed report that there may have been a drug operation going on in the apartment, and that's what set off the explosion, but that is unconfirmed at this time. Responding to the scene were Missoula Police and Fire Departments, the University of Montana Police Department, and the Missoula Drug Task Force. Sergeant Mike Hebert said the Drug Task Force was called in purely on a precautionary measure in case there may have been drug activity in the apartment, although none has yet been reported officially. He also said none of the occupants suffered life-threatening injuries, although 1 adult did suffer what he called flash burns. Sergeant Denton again said more details on the incident would be released later today. Montana State prison officials say they're gaining ground on a staffing shortage that left correctional officers working mandatory overtime earlier this year. At the peak of the shortage, human resource officials said almost 70 correctional officer positions were vacant. KECI Television reports they've brought the vacancy number down to 40 and have 28 new employees in training. Warden Leroy Kierkegaard said the job comes with good benefits and sets people on a path toward a long-term career, but he acknowledges it's not easy work and it is not for everyone. Kierkegaard said a prospect has to be aware and alert at all times while also showing respect to offenders and to help prepare them to be released into the community. Pay starts at just over $27,000 a year. A Missoula man is denied charges that he violated a restraining order by repeatedly sending a woman messages on Facebook and via text, ranging from declarations of love to suicide threats. Joshua James Allen pleaded not guilty late last week in district court to 33 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor count of violating an order of protection. Prosecutors filed 1 charge for each message sent to the woman over a 90-minute period back on September 9th. Allen has been released on GPS monitoring. Standing Master Brenda Desmond told him he must stay away from the victim or he will be jailed. The University of Montana officially opened the Eloise Cobell Land and Culture Institute Friday. The institute is located within the Payne Family Native American Center, just off the UM Oval. Cobell's elder sister, Julene Pepkin Kennerly, was at Friday's ceremony, along with several other direct and extended family members, and praised her sister's efforts to bring economic justice to Native peoples.
She's done so much in Indian country because she was an advocate of social justice for all Native Americans. It wasn't just for Blackfeet, and all Native Americans benefited from it. To us, she's our warrior.
Kennerly says her sister's tenacity came from a strong family background.
We had parents that more or less told us never give up. You just do it. You see something wrong, try to correct it. And she did. She went all the way and did it.
At the ceremony, Montana Commissioner of Higher Education Clayton Christian also gave credit to Terry Payne and his family for their support of Native American issues and for their efforts in seeing the Native American Center to its completion.
This building is just a spectacular sort of architectural piece right in the center of campus. The whole point is to give students in need a place where they can come, where they can get guidance, where they can feel at home, and it clearly has done that.
In 1985, Cobell brought a class action lawsuit lawsuit against the U.S. government, claiming the Interior Department obtained royalties worth billions of dollars that legally belonged to Indian tribal members. In 2010, the lawsuit was settled for $3.4 billion. However, Cobell died before the first payments could be distributed to tribal members. The U.S. Army War College announced last Friday that the school had revoked Montana Senator John Walsh's graduate degree, finding that he plagiarized his master's thesis. The U.S. Army War College issued the following statement on Friday, and I quote, "The U.S. Army War College completed today an academic review board process in accordance with its academic policy in order to examine the allegations of plagiarism by John Walsh in a research paper he submitted as a member of the 2007 student body, while a colonel in the Montana National Guard. The board found that then Colonel John Walsh did commit the offense of plagiarism, and thus his master's degree and status as graduate of the U.S. Army War College should be revoked." The Army War College Commandant notified Mr. Walsh on October 10th of the final decision to revoke his status as a graduate of the Army War College. Looking back to just after the story broke in the New York Times, Town Square Media's Chris Griffin interviewed Senator and then candidate Walsh on July 25th and asked him about the charges.
I was going to the United States Army War College. I had to write a strategic research paper, and I made a mistake. It was an unintentional mistake when I put the paper together. It was a 14-page paper. I had there were 96 citations that I identified in the paper. Some of those citations were identified incorrectly, and some of the comments that I left in the paper I did not put a citation against. So I made a mistake on my paper.
Griffin then asked Walsh if this incident would lead him to quit the campaign.
Oh, definitely not. You know, I go back to, you look at when this happened. It happened while I was at the Army War College, 7 years ago. You look at my service, prior to that, while I was at the War College. This is just one small segment of my military career.
Walsh quit the campaign on August 7th. The Montana legislature passed a law in 2013 allowing individuals to help nonprofit groups process wild game for free distribution by the Montana Food Bank Network. The program is called Hunters Against Hunger, according to CEO Gail Gifford.
Well, we had an opportunity through the last legislature to get a bill passed that allowed hunters to make at least $1 donation each time they purchased their hunting license. And that money went into a pool that then allows us to pay for the processing for any hunter who wants to donate their wild game.
There could be up to 35,000 pounds of game meat donated this hunting season. Our News Talk time is 6:10.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Look for a mix of sun and clouds today with our high temperatures topping out in the mid-60s. A few clouds this evening. Much warmer by Tuesday afternoon with their highs in the 70s. We'll see areas of rain by Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.